Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. If I told you Gley was literally the best Descendant for Wallcrasher in the game, would you believe me? She's faster than Serena, she's stronger than Ajax. Gley literally solos Wallcrasher in under 40 seconds solo is how strong Gley's setup is currently. So you can see here, just in lab as an example, I'm using the Beetle on Wallcrasher in general. And I'm using this with the regular setup that I posted even a while back, but I'm reposting this setup because it's got such a crazy giga level of upgrade that I feel like it's worth showing it again. You can watch his entire health bar literally get melted in real time, and well, Gley is absolutely cracked, and I think this shows it very much so. So yeah, boom. That was the entire Wallcrasher down in basically, well, or just a little under 40 seconds. So, let me show you the Gley setup, and, well, let's get right on into today's video. So, starting off with Gley, with the mod setup, we're going to go with mid-air maneuvering, and the red module is going to be Predator Instinct. The reason we still go with Predator Instinct is because it gives us the most duration on our third ability, which is going to be the main thing we are focusing on, at least with Gley. Now, with Gley, she's always, for her gunning, being about cooldown and duration up. So, nothing changes over here. We are going to go straight into cooldown. So for this, we will be using MP conversion as well as nimble fingers. And for duration, we will be going with skill extension along with maximize duration. Now, with Gley as well, there was a few changes. Her duration got giga buffed recently as well. So you can see here the duration is already in a very nice positive. So we are going to amplify this further, but for time being, if we look at her damage multiplier, it's her max HP times 210, which I believe is around about 35,000 for her max damage cap. So let's focus on HP with her now as well. So we're going to go with increased HP along with stim accelerant for more health, and then because this is a gunning build, we will still remain with shot focus. Now, just for a little bit of damage reduction, we're going to go with auto immunity here. So this should be fairly good with Gley, just because you want to be taking as little damage as possible with her. And then for the last two slots, there's only two options. For the trigger mod here, we will be using Kuiper Hollow Points with double gold. We do not want a lot of increase in the recoil, but this is going to allow us to take advantage of weak point analyst, which is going to slot in over here, which gives us more weak point damage and more health recovery up to 15 stacks. Now, the final slot, this is where an Ancestor mod would go. However, if you don't want to use an Ancestor mod, you can't really go wrong with just a little bit of extra defense. Before, we'd have to build for cooldown here or a little bit of duration, but Gley has a ton of that now. So you can use defense here, and I will talk about the Ancestor mod a little bit later in the Ancestor mod segment of this video, so we'll talk about that when it comes to it. Yeah, okay, so that's the Gley build. Let's have a look at the other parts of this build. For the Reactor, we'll quickly have a look at that, but before we do, let's just slot our weapon of choice in, which, I mean, you guys already saw from the intro, it's going to be the Blue Beetle. For the Reactor with Gley, it really doesn't matter what you use. The main thing is cooldown and duration up. This is gonna Gley after all, so we still are going to go in with that. Nothing has changed on this front. You still want cooldown and you still want duration up. So yeah, we're still going with that. Next up, for the external components, what you are going to want is going to be two pieces of two sets. The first one is going to be the ballistic set. So we're going to go with two pieces of ballistics tracker. This is specifically for the weak point damage on here. And then we are also going to go with two pieces of Shell Crusher. This is, again, for fire rate. So, ideally, the perfect comps for Gley would be max HP and fire resistance, HP recovery modifier and chill resistance, defense and electric resistance, toxic resistance, and the random stat that you choose. However, I've just gone with the MP stuff because I use this on other Descendants as well. For the ideal cores on your external components, just max HP and defense across every single one of them is going to be pretty much all you are going to need. So that wraps up that bit. That wraps that up nicely. Next up, let's have a look at the Arche tuning tree. So for the tuning tree with Gley, it's going to be kind of what you'd expect for gunning Gley. We are going to go with a little bit of health just so that our DPS can scale even higher. Other than that, we're going to go weak point, accuracy, and we are going to go into the multi-hit chance because this weapon can proc a little bit of multi. Other than that, we're going to go up here for affinity damage. We're going to go up for crit rate and for crit damage. Then for Gley, duration is everything on this build, and every split second you can get shooting that beetle for 2 more seconds is going to be a boatload of damage. So we are going to go over here and pick ourselves up some extra duration to wrap this all up. So let's have a look at the weapons and the setup for this now as well. So with the actual blue beetle, the main thing is going to be 2 fire rate cores. 2 fire rate cores is going to be essential. Make sure they are 20% as well, otherwise you won't be able to get the fire rate going as ballistic and the DPS pumping out as fast. The other cores will be electric and a firearm attack core. Could put a damage to the Colossi core, but I personally prefer the firearm attack. For the build on the beetle, it's going to be a weak point centric build. 2 weak point mods, 2 element mods, 1 fire rate, 3 crit mods, and then your standard firearm attack mod. So this is what you would want to be rocking on the beetle for this specific build. Now for the inversions with Gley, you are going to want to go with the weak point of inversion, of course. Other than that, I've gone with the health inversion in case I do go low on health. And then I've also gone with a little bit of additional movement speed. This doesn't really make a difference, and you can use the cooldown one and stuff like that. But for gunning Gley, there's not very many gunning inversions left in the game anymore, so we are shit out of luck is what I would say essentially. So that pretty much wraps up this segment of this video. However, let's talk about something that a lot of people are going to be interested in, and that is going to be the Ancestor mod. For the Ancestor mod for this build, well, this is gunning Gley, and like I said, duration is literally DPS on this build. So for Gley, you're just going to want to go with as much duration as you possibly can on your Ancestor mod. That is it. Cooldown, not necessary. Duration, absolutely necessary. For gunning, the rest of the stats genuinely don't matter. You can have a duration up, negative crit rate, negative crit damage, whatever, goo goo gaga mod. The only stat you need on this is going to just be duration up. So that's fairly simple for Gley. Yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. Max HP would also be very good on here. Again, like I said, scaling up towards Gley's HP cap would do more DPS in general. Currently with this build, I am around about 31,000 health, so I'm not fully at her cap, I believe, so more HP would be better in this instance. So now let's have a look at some Gley gameplay inside of Wall Crasher. So inside of actual Wall Crasher, let's pull this clip out real quick. So once it does decide to load, there you go. Just gonna show you this, zoom it to fill, put it on full screen, and there you go. This is a good reference point, so we'll go from here as well. In terms of actual Wall Crasher gameplay, all you do with Gley is just the following. You just go in, you aim at his shoulder, specifically his shoulder, because that takes the most damage based on the blue beetle's typing. Aiming at his heart is not too bad either, but this absolutely pile drives his weak point, and you can see the damage is going ridiculous. This build is solo as well. If you do slap an Enzo and a Luna on, I do believe you can solo Wall Crasher, well, solo DPS Wall Crasher in under 30 seconds, which is like insane, maybe even a little bit faster. But in this run here, in a public lobby where I'm on my own, I'm a poor, vulnerable little Gley is what you would say, but in 35 seconds I hit 2 billion damage. Well, another clip here that I did as well, once it does spawn in, this is another clip too. I did this one, I think literally just one run before the last one, so you can see very evidently that Gley is absolutely one of, if not the best Descendants for Wall Crasher. I'm just showing solo gameplay, and you can literally just, you know, yeah, I don't need to say anything. The results genuinely speak for themselves with this build. I am really excited about this build too, because, well, Gley has been one of my favorite Descendants for the longest of times, and honestly, just seeing how much they've made her into such a giga brain Descendant genuinely makes me happy. Neuron activations for all of my homies right here. So yeah, this is Wall Crasher Gley, where you can ignore the fact that teammates exist and solo the Wall Crasher yourself in basically 40 seconds. In this run, I think I hit a little bit less than 2 billion damage, but you can consistently ratio. And imagine getting into a lobby of 8 of these Gleys. Oh man, that lobby is going to be insane. But you can see here, 38 seconds and I did 1.8 billion. Not too bad. It does depend on your aim as well, of course, and hitting weak points. But yeah, that's pretty much everything, guys, and I hope you have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button, and if you are new here, please do consider subscribing. I make plenty of videos on the first Descendant, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!